Welcome to the Florida Fastpitch 2025 FHSAA 6A and 7A Final Four Preview Deep Dive.
Hey there.
We are really ripping open a stack of source material today, all previewing the big school softball Final Fours.
Yep, happening down at Boombah-Soldiers Creek Park in Longwood.
And we're focused right in on classes 6A and 7A for this one.
And, these sources, they lay out a really compelling picture of the teams heading to Longwood.
Yeah. What stands out?
Well, they describe programs built around, totally dominant pitching, others powered by these explosive offenses, and then some that just, find ways to win tough games through sheer grit, really, resilience.
Right.
What's clear is that all 8 of these teams, they bring something potent to the field. No easy outs here.
Exactly. And our mission today, pretty straightforward, unpack these previews, pull out the most important insights, the nuggets of info.
Get everyone up to speed.
Get you completely up to speed on what to expect from these 8 teams battling for a state title. Think of this as like your essential briefing before the first pitch.
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's unpack the 6A bracket first. The sources describe it as seriously stacked, featuring what looks like a juggernaut, teams with elite two-way players, and pitchers who are just, well, dominant.
Yeah, I saw that line in one source, something like, every team has an ace. Every team has pop.
That really grabs you, doesn't it?
It does, and the sources detail how these teams got here, through the regionals. We have 2 pretty distinct semifinal matchups highlighted.
Okay, kicking us off is the 10 a.m. game, No 1 Doral Academy versus No 4 Bloomingdale.
And the sources. Pretty emphatic about Doral Academy.
Yeah, words like untouchable are being thrown around, especially after that, 15-0 Mercy Rule win in their regional final?
Yeah, 15-zip. And looking at their offensive stats from the sources, you kind of get why they're called an offensive nightmare.
Okay, lay some numbers on us.
Anabela Abdullah is batting 600. 600. With 15 homers, 59 RBIs. Her freshman sister, Zoe Abdullah, hitting .517. Sarah Bro adds 12 home runs. I mean, that kind of power, that depth, it's just rare.
And then there's their pitching. So the sources use some strong language here, basically calling it a cheat code.
Right, Megan Villazon. Her ERA is 0.48.
0.48.
And 249 strikeouts. When you see those numbers together, well, it's clear why she's such a massive advantage.
Okay, so who's facing this machine?
Facing them is Bloomingdale, and the sources say they have some thunder of its own.
All right, Bloomingdale. What's their story?
Senior Natalie Cable is highlighted, a critical piece, a legit two-way threat.
Okay.
She's batting .536 with 13 homers, and she also anchors their pitching. 1.30 ERA, 184 strikeouts.
So she can absolutely control the game from the circle.
And change it with one swing, yeah.
That's huge. Do they have depth behind her?
The sources point to Paige Sanchez batting .419, Marley Butcher hitting 11 homers. So yeah, there's some pop there too.
The big question the sources seem to wrestle with is, can Bloomingdale genuinely challenge a team that looks this dominant on paper?
And the preview gives a pretty clear edge, you got to say, to Doral Academy.
Okay.
While acknowledging Bloomingdale has players like Cable who could, maybe scare them or make a big play.
Right.
Doral's offensive firepower just all through the lineup, and Villazon's dominance, it's expected to let them sort of withstand any punches and just regain control pretty quickly.
Bury you in the next inning, maybe?
Could be.
All right, moving on to the 12 p.m. game. House 2, Pace versus number 3, Parrish Community. Our sources are calling this one the sneaky best matchup.
Yeah, I like that description. Pace comes in after a really crisp 4-0 regional win.
And the primary reason Pace is here, according to these sources, it's their pitcher, right? Sophomore Hannah DeMarcus.
Oh, yeah. Her stats are called absurd. An ERA of 0.30.
0.30.
And 393 strikeouts over 162 innings.
Whoa, okay, 393 Ks, that's wild.
The source emphasizes when she's locating her pitches, she is just lights out. Simple as that.
But it's not just pitching for Pace, is it?
No, they bring offense and leadership, too.
Right.
Gracie Uberopt has 8 homers. Senior Lana Gonzalez is batting .420. The sources describe them as, well-rounded, a team that looks ready for this kind of postseason pressure.
Okay, on the other side, Parrish Community, the sources note they are definitely not just happy to be here.
Right, they're battle-tested. They survived a tight 4-3 regional final. They're used to these close games.
Who drives their bus?
Sophomore Alyssa Bam Jones is highlighted. She's the engine, batting .469, plays with just relentless energy. You see why they call her Bam.
Gotcha. Any power threats?
Cassidy Ott provides some power. And their pitching is anchored by Emmeline Van Beck, described as rock solid.
Okay, what are her numbers like?
147 ERA, 153 strikeouts in about 100 innings.
So good numbers, but maybe not quite the eye-popping strikeout totals like DeMarcus.
Exactly. But the source notes she's a pitcher who knows how to win these big games. And she's also a two-way player, hits for power. Adds another dimension.
Interesting. So this matchup raises that point from the sources, doesn't it? About sheer stats versus, like, proven effectiveness under pressure.
Yeah, it's a classic contrast.
So who gets the edge in the previews?
Slight lean to Pace, mostly because DeMarcus is seen as just that dominant.
But there's always a but.
But they caution Parrish is definitely capable of scratching across some runs early, maybe forcing Pace to play from behind. That could make it really tight.
Okay, so if the sources are right about these semis, the predicted 6A championship matchup is Doral Academy versus Pace.
That's the one. The heavyweight chess match, as one source put it.
Powerhouse offense meets power pitching. Love it.
Yeah. Doral's strategy, you'd guess, would be try to strike early, rattle DeMarcus maybe, push Pace into uncomfortable territory.
Makes sense. And Pace's counter?
Control the rhythm, maybe play some small ball if they need to, and just rely on DeMarcus to basically trade zeros with Villazon.
Strength on strength. The sources call the margin for error razor thin.
Exactly, which makes the final prediction maybe a bit surprising.
Oh, what is it?
The sources ultimately predict Doral Academy winning it, 2-0.
2-0. For that Doral offense against Pace, that seems low.
It does, right. But the rationale provided is that while Doral has the lineup depth, the firepower to win, Pace and Hannah DeMarcus are expected to be just incredibly tough to score on.
So Doral wins, but they have to earn every single run in a tight, well-pitched battle.
That seems to be the thinking, yeah. It suggests a classic pitcher's duel, even with Doral's bats.
Okay, fascinating stuff in 6A. Let's switch gears. We're diving headfirst into the 7A matchups now.
All right, 7A. The sources describe this bracket as, well, loaded with heavyweights.
Yeah, no single clear favorite here, apparently. All four teams are seen as capable of winning the whole thing.
Right. You've got proven arms, lineups that can really hit. Wellington, Sarasota, Hagerty, and Western. Each brings a slightly different style.
Okay, first 7A game scheduled for 2 p.m. Number 1 Wellington versus number 4 Sarasota. Wellington gets described as solid, maybe not flashy, but top-seeded for a reason.
Yeah, they pitched a 4-0 shutout in their regional final. Pretty clean win.
Who's the key player for them?
Senior Tori Payne.
She's
She's identified as critical, leads them at the plate batting .391, 4 homers and in the circle.
Ah, another two-way star. Her pitching numbers.
Pretty sharp. 0.90 ERA, 119 strikeouts over about 101 innings.
Okay. And offensively, besides Payne?
Angelina Baranchi adds clutch hitting, 20 RBIs. And the sources note Wellington's lineup is kind of built to just wear down opposing pitchers. They make you work. Tough out in the postseason.
Across the field, Sarasota, described as surging at the right time.
Yeah, they already pulled off one upset, spoiled a bracket favorite, then they rolled past Sumner in their regional final. Seems like they're peaking now in May.
Who leads their charge?
Offensively, Summer Spears is batting .505. That's a tough out. Modi Pint brings power with 5 home runs.
And pitching.
Gemma Mulholland, 2.12 ERA. The sources say she gives them a shot, especially if she can keep the ball in the yard against these lineups.
So Sarasota sounds like they could be a bit unpredictable. Win a slugfest or steal one late.
That's the sense, yeah. Makes them dangerous.
Who do the sources give the edge to here?
It goes to Wellington. They're viewed as steadier, deeper, and more composed. But, yeah, big caveat. If Sarasota's bats stay hot like they have been, this game could flip really quickly.
Okay, game 2 in 7A, the 4 p.m. matchup. 2 Hagerty versus number 3 Western.
Hagerty, described as senior heavy, playing with urgency, like the clock is ticking for them.
And they showed they can score, right? That 10-7 regional final wins, just they can put up runs in bunches.
Absolutely. Their offense has depth. Alexander Beldovitz hitting a clean .500, and a Roman has 9 homers.
What about their pitching situation?
Some flexibility there. Alexis Williamson has logged the most innings. Her ERA is .320. But Elverne offers maybe more firepower, 1.90 ERA, 67 Ks in just over 50 innings. Gives them options.
But they're facing the reigning 7A champs, Western.
Correct. This is a program, as the sources say, that has been here, done that. They survived a tight one to get back to Longwood. That experience, that pedigree, it's significant.
Who's leading Western this year?
Ollie Solo seems to be doing a little bit of everything. Leads in homers with 4, strikeouts with 169, and has a solid 2.09 ERA.
Wow. Okay. Is that filling the stat sheet?
And Natalie Diaz is batting .379. The sources call their lineup scrappy, confident, dangerous in close games, especially late. You expect that from a defending champ.
So who gets the nod in this one? It sounds really close.
It does. The source gives a slight edge to Hagerty, but emphasizes it's barely.
Okay.
They acknowledge Western's championship history is a huge asset, but see Hagerty maybe having just the slimmest overall advantage on paper this year.
All right, so based on that analysis and these sources, the predicted 7A championship game is Wellington versus Hagerty.
That's the projection. And it's presented as a really fascinating clash of styles. You've got Wellington's sort of balanced, methodical approach against Hagerty's more firepower-driven, aggressive offense.
So Wellington's strategy would probably be Payne controlling the tempo, mixing speeds.
Exactly. Keep Hagerty's hitters off balance, limit mistakes, play clean defense.
And Hagerty, they've got the arms for matchups, the offense for maybe that one big inning, go for the knockout.
That sounds about right. They seem built to try and land a decisive blow offensively.
What's interesting is the source analysis points to composure as a key factor in this potential final, specifically mentioning Wellington's even keel.
Right, how they handle the pressure moments. That seems to be a defining trait for them this season, according to the previews.
And that composure, that seems to be the deciding element in the source's prediction.
It appears so. The sources predict Wellington wins it 4-3.
Close game.
Very. The reasoning given is that while Hagerty definitely has the bats, Wellington's overall makeup, that balance, that steady approach, gives them the edge.
The idea being that in these high-pressure games where maybe every team can hit,
the team with the most overall balance, the one that makes fewer mistakes, is often the one that survives. That's the theory presented.
So, wrapping this all up, what does all this preview info mean for you following along?
Well, the sources paint a really vivid picture, don't they? High-stakes Final Four weekend, compelling matchups, contrasting styles.
Yeah, we've seen previews highlighting these statistical powerhouses like Doral. Pitchers with just dominant numbers like DeMarcus and Villazon.
Yeah.
Crucial two-way players like Cable and Payne who impact the game everywhere. And then those battle-tested teams like Parrish and Western who just know how to win when it's tight.
This deep dive, it's really given us, and hopefully you, a shortcut to being well-informed about these matchups. We pulled out the key players, the big stats, the storylines the sources are pushing.
And here's where it gets really interesting, thinking beyond the previews. When a team is described as untouchable, like Doral was, can they actually be stopped by another elite team playing its best game?
Right. Is anyone truly untouchable at this stage? And then, looking at those predicted championship games, which quality matters more when everything is on the line in a state final? Is it that overwhelming firepower, the hitting depth?
Or is it that steady composure, the ability to execute the fundamentals, limit the errors under immense pressure? Something for you to definitely think about as you follow all the action from Longwood this weekend.